Hey, this is Dr. Pinkey. Are you a startup or are you thinking about starting your own business? If that's you, you're going to need vision and direction for that business. Join me and watch this training as I work with the board of Dorcas Destiny International to help them develop a vision statement for their organization. Okay. All right. So now you've answered the critical questions. Let's start talking about what does Dorcas Destiny International do?
I don't want to start since, I want to hear other people.
Okay. Board members? What's your interpretation of what Dorcas Destiny International does? What does it
Do you
do?
agree that I shouldn't start? Since I wrote what we have?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So let's get input from everyone else.
Well, I think I'm spanking new, so just so I'm looking on the outside, inside.
Yep, that's
so,
exactly what I'm.
So what I
where I'm at
see
too.
that Dorcas Destiny do, they have adopted a school, but it's more than the school; it's the community. And the way that from this statement is saying to develop this economic, we're going to start with the school and target the school, and from that you're going to target from beginning to end. You want to target the school, the structure itself, make sure it's up to date, the staff and the students, and then in making sure that the students progress. You want to make sure they're eating, their water system, the food, clothing, and then you want to develop them creatively. As they say, they want to know, can they not just be structured but be creative as well. So it's more than just sponsoring the school. It's about the community, and we're starting with the school.
Okay.
Yeah, and branching out from the students and going out into their families, and just starting with them, as you said, and then branching out into providing for their families, and then through that, just in terms of the other community at large.
And that's what they're being taught. These students are being taught how to provide for their community. So as they're growing and you have others coming under them, they can, teach that to them. So it'll continue to flow over and, and they'll be able to, keep this flowing. And that's the vision, they have that, and they can run with that, and they can, teach others as they're coming forth.
Okay. All right.
Which one? First question?
The first,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
First one.
I have teaching, sustainability, economic development, sustainable economic development, clean water, and knowledge are my three key things for that.
Okay. Now, do you want us to, everybody's input, all questions, and then you come at the end? Or how would you
What do
like to
you
do that? It's up to you. We can roll either way you want.
Well, I'll go ahead and I'll answer this.
Okay.
So what I said, so the answer to what does our organization do, I said work with the community to increase its capacity, providing actual items and services.
Okay.
And then to kind of align with what everybody was saying, and I think I've said this to many of us individually, a lot of people just want to work with the children, but the children go home to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
How can you just work with the children without working with the people that the children are going home to?
Yeah.
So that kind of aligns with what everybody was saying.
Yeah. Everybody is pretty much, we're hearing different bits and pieces of essentially the same thing. So this is all going to come together and we'll have a collective vision. Okay, so now moving along, what's the primary output, products, or services that Dorcas Destiny International provides? We'll start right here.
Right now, it's providing water. Was it clean water? This is very essential. Working on a meal plan. Working on increasing resources for knowledge and creativity. And also, which is vital and key, is having a presence. It's one thing to send things, but to have a present, physical presence there truly makes a difference. people see people are willing to come and physically be a part, it just ups the notch of everything.
I'm gonna go down line, but I'm gonna skip you.
I kept it very simple, and it's just the knowledge to provide for themselves, whether it's the clean water, whether it's the crops, whether it's to go to school, and just having the knowledge to be able to do those things themselves without us, and of course with our help, but knowing that they can do it without us with just a little bit of knowledge.
Okay.
And I just kind of put to become resourceful and maintain what they've learned.
I have nothing to add, they all covered everything that I.
And that's, you're gonna find that's gonna happen because you're hitting common elements. Now, if everybody in the room had,
So you don't
Separate
have to always
opinions.
start with me. So that's the thing.
We can go background another way.
I like to start with you. You set the tone. But I think that's good because you're thinking along the same lines, and it's not like everybody has gazillion different things. Then it's like, okay, we've got to hone all this down.
Right.
But this is good because you're saying similar things, you're hitting on certain touch points, and these are things that, oh, if you all say this, maybe that's part of the vision
And
statement.
just what Inez said, like, reminded me of kind of what we talked about earlier with, you know, teaching them to fish instead of giving them a fish.
Right.
Like, it's kind of like the overarching of all of it.
Yes.
Mhm. Absolutely. Very good. You all are doing well. So, here's the question. What sets Dorcas Destiny International apart from other organizations that are doing similar work? What's your distinguishing factor?
I can start on this side if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not gonna fight you on that.
Well, one thing that you said though, Yolanda, I think is a key thing, that element that sets apart is the willingness to go. And not just raising funds and sending, but actually the willingness to go, I think, is something that, that sets us apart from other organizations. Is not just fundraising and, or, you know, collecting things, collecting coats, bags, whatever it may be, but actually, and sending them, but actually going and physically, you know, interacting and helping too. I think that's one of the keys.
I agree with that, but I say bringing the gospel. I know there are other ministries that are doing that, but bringing the gospel,
Yeah.
you know, to the community.
All right.
And I said teach and not just hand out. Just kept it simple.
Teaching, not just hand out.
Yeah, because, you know, like she was saying, if we just hand it out, they don't learn anything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, on our trip so far, that's our main goal, is teaching. The handouts are a part of it, but we tell them where it's coming from, how it's coming to them, and why it's coming to them. So otherwise they don't get it. And I mean, there's certain things that we just, even from each trip, we learn a little bit more of how to do it better. Yeah.
And also, they get the founder
Yes.
to come. That makes it personal. And everybody want a face to a name and a product. And so that's why they create, you know, that's why all the advertising is about putting a face to it. Even though they may not have been there from the beginning, like Colonel Sanders and, you know, all these other, not trying to, you know, they're trying to put a face to the product and to the company. And Donna is the face, but she's also the company. And then we all support that.
And they actually get to see the face,
This-
the
yes.
person behind that, the driving force.
Because I'll just give you an example. I know when we went to Columbia and the little kids were there, and I never forgot it. They were saying, we were praying, we were asking for people to help us, we was asking, and here you are. I mean, I just melted on the ground there, you know. So I'm just saying the impact of that, I think I know it's impacted me for the years after, and that was in 2004. So I can't even imagine how it has impacted those kids.
Okay, very good. Now, moving along, what are our organizational values? Values are very important. So, what are the values? And I think I've heard some values, but I'm not going to share what they are. So, what are the values? What are the values that Dorcas Destiny International displays or believes in?
Trust, honesty, caring, and giving.
I have teaching, knowledge, learning, and love.
Teaching, that was my
You know,
big one, yeah.
teaching, bringing the gospel. Yeah.
Okay, that was quick. And this is one that I'm sure you all know. Who are present customers, clients, and partners? And it's very important to think about that because we talk about values. You have to be very careful who you align your organization with. I mean, there may be other organizations doing similar work, but perhaps their values are not lining up with what Dorcas Destiny International is based and founded on. So sometimes you have to be careful with who you partner with. They might have a Brinks truck full of money to give, but do you really want to partner with them? So it's very essential to get to know your partners or potential partners before you say yes. So with that being said, who are your present customers, clients, partners?
Right, all I know is the board members, the people that donate, this community, the school, the staff, and the students in the community. And I think it's a good idea to, what I think Donna does very well, is to have a conversation with the people that are involved and just get a sense of, are they lining up with my value system? And if they don't, if they're talking and saying stuff, because that's the only way you know. People can make a front, but you know by the conversation and interaction you have, are they following the same core values you are?
I split it into two. Customers and clients are the rural villages and communities. And then for partners, I put individuals, small and large companies that all have an interest in global teaching and helping.
Nice.
Pretty much the same thing on what she said, but I always come back to the gospel because it's a Christian organization as well. So you can't leave that component out of that. So if they're not lining up and they're on a different page, you're going to be someplace else.
I think that's really important, in particular with future thinking, forward thinking in terms of partnerships. Making sure that that they are aware that it's first and foremost aware that that is one of the founding values of the organization is the gospel and Jesus, and not necessarily requiring them to be faith-based, but knowing that they know that we are, and that everything that they're potentially.
All right, there we go. So now, and I'm just going to hold this for the time being to see everybody. So now, your customers. What's your future customer look like? Is it going to be the same folks? Is it going to branch out? Are you going to spread out?
I just put arrows to stay the same as rural villages and communities because as we grow them, they won't be rural anymore after we leave them, and then we can keep going to the next and to the next. So I kept it the same for customers and clients.
Okay. Everybody agree with that? You want to add anything?
I was thinking though that they would become, like she said, they would grow, but they would become more self-sufficient till it would become a trend that they would become part of, not just being the customers, but they would become part of being the proprietors, the resource, and the supported partnering to moving forward with the company. That's how advanced they're gonna be. They're gonna be the protege for where we're going.
I like that, like they move from, being
The client.
customers and clients to being partners, helping other customers, like pulling them forward,
And I always say one up and one up,
Yeah.
and one up and one up this way. So
Yeah, just a.
yes.
All right. That's
If I had a gavel, yes.
okay. So
Yeah.
this is wonderful. So you've answered those questions,
And you're gonna build those into this vision statement in some shape or form. Couple of things that I heard and description, self-sufficient is something that the goal is to help the individuals that you're working with in the communities become self-sufficient. Education is another focal point where you're educating the children, but you're also educating families and educating the communities. Not only that, education might be the starting point, but you're also bringing in health and nutrition. So these are all part of the things. Economic development is basically what you're saying. And you added, now they're the people that we're working with in the community, but getting them to the point that they become self-sufficient and ultimately become partners. So they'll go from being the clients or the people that you're assisting to getting to a point where they can also give back and partner with Dorcas Destiny International. Or not only that, if you're gonna have employees and volunteers, maybe these will be some future volunteers. So that's gonna give some sustainability to your organization. So you're sort of I don't want to use recycling. That's not a good word, but it's sort of, it's coming around or coming full circle. You're
A 360.
yes,
That's
exactly,
what we do.
exactly.
Clients to partners to clients to partners, yeah, through like a little circle. So.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of organizations necessarily do that, but that's part of that vision. Okay, so those are some things that I've heard. Now, and oh, Donna, you didn't add your other input. Tell us more.
Well, in number 3, the question, what distinguishes us, what I wrote was we go and we do.
Mhm.
So that was definitely consistent, and we are hands-on. And it makes me really emotional.
Just when the babies
Yeah.
come up to you and
Ah.
everything, it's just,
Yes.
they're just so excited. Like I cry every time. They're just like little faces, little hands. Like it's so precious.
And that's one of the things, George, my friend has said, he said, you come and you bring people. You come back and you bring people. Because he's told me.
We know you're
There
very,
was a lady
very
that-
emotionally connected, and that's how it is when you're a founder
Yeah.
and you found your passion.
Well, he was telling me that because he does travel quite a bit, and he talks about DDI, he doesn't talk about DDI, but he talks about the school. And people keep saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna help, oh, I'm gonna help. But we're the only ones that are actually fulfilling that I'm gonna help. And every time I come, somebody new that comes with us, and he greatly appreciates that because it's for his people, his village, his family. I mean, his blood family. So, yeah.
See?
For example, George had told us in the car, a lady came and pumped up their head saying she's gonna build all these roads, she's gonna do this, she's got $1 million, she's gonna do this, that, and the other. Ain't seen her since. Ain't seen her since. And so many people, they'll go once, say all this stuff, pump everybody's head up thinking that Americans are rich and all this other stuff, and then they never go back. And she never went back ever. George tried to contact her, wouldn't even contact him back. So it's just to go and put your face down. Most people just go and put their face down and say, I was there, take their picture,
Yeah,
and
with
then
cameras
never go
rolling,
back.
with
Yeah.
cameras rolling.
Right.
And I think this is what Yolanda's point was, where she said you actually go. You actually go. You're not sending someone, you're going. Anybody could donate, and let's face it, we all can't go, but you're going. So they see Dorcas Destiny International when they see you all show up and consistently showing up each time. So there's consistency there as well. A whole bunch of children running up because they recognize somebody they saw 6 months ago and she's back. So those are things that's the vision, which translates into the mission, which is action. So now Let me tell you a little something about this statement right here. First thing I see, and of course this is a working thing, right? Let me put the camera on myself now. Anyway, this is a working thing. Remember I said vision is like a roadmap. It doesn't have any action. So I would take becoming. We're not becoming because that's an action. To become, you could say that because there's not an action. That's an aspiration. That's what you aspire to do. To become partners alongside the village and community at large to participate in the economic development of Apoyo Awendo. So my question is, and I wrote this down, is this enough? Is this enough to make Dorcas Destiny International stand out? Now, I've heard some things about returning education. How is that going to be built into your vision statement? How do you see that? Or even if you want to state that, you could be like Starbucks. You could say one focal thing, but you're doing many other things. So this is something that I want you to think about, is to become partners alongside the village. But I also heard some other things. I heard self-sufficiency. I don't necessarily see this here. You're wanting to participate in economic development. You might want to develop that a little more and articulate helping people become self-sufficient. So that may be something, and I've heard that teaching people how to fish instead of giving them the fish. Like the example we heard earlier from Scott, 68 years of handouts without anybody stopping to say, hey, let's teach you how to do this. Let's teach you how to grow the crops. We don't just want to hand you the corn or the maize. Let's show you how to plant seeds and water it and grow it. And 68 years, no wonder there's more of a need and a demand, because people have become dependent. They're not self-sufficient at all. They're just waiting for that handout. So I'm just wondering what that mission statement looked like and that vision statement looked like. Was it to just feed people for 68 years? I don't think that was that. So these are some things that you want to think about. And the thing about the vision statement, it's a living document, but it's the foundation of everything you do. So that's why I have these questions here, because I want you to think about what we're doing, what are we providing, and how we are going to craft that into a statement. And of course, Donna knows where to find me. You can always send me a draft and I'll go through that. But just remember, think of the vision statement as that roadmap. You already should know this is where we want to be in 5 years or 10 years. I don't recommend writing a vision that's any longer than 10 years. You don't necessarily have to put in the statement that in 2025 we'll be doing this. You don't have to do that, but when you're writing this, what's your vision for where you want to be at some point in the future? Maybe you want to be the leader of this type of support or this type of organization. Maybe you want to serve not only Kenya and East Africa, maybe you want to spread out and serve communities throughout the African continent. That may be your vision. So these are all things you want to think about. Spreading the gospel. How do we put that into this vision statement? Education, health. There are many things there. It's just you're thinking about these things, and when you come up with that vision statement, it's all going to be there in a sense. Whether you're stating it or not, the way you craft that vision statement, we're going to be able to see it. For example, going back to Microsoft, they wanted to put a computer on every desk and every table, right? And regardless of what their other values were, this was the vision, and they accomplished that. So just having this helps you to kind of think about that and develop that. And the one last piece that I have, and this is something that you'll develop, I'm sure, after today, so we don't even really have to go to this, because I want you to think about this, the activity that you just completed, in order to work together to develop that vision statement. And the question here is describe what success looks like for Dorcas Destiny International 5 years from now. And I just said 5 years. You might say 7 years, you might say 3 years. That's the thing. What do you want this to look like in that period of time? Any questions? I know it's a lot to think about, right?
That's good.
So is it okay to be very specific or be general?
I think general or more abstract or broad is better.
Okay.
You know, the specifics are in your mission statement. When you
Okay.
start talking about your strategies, your strategic plan, who you're partnering with to get there, those are the types of things that you might put more toward the mission and strategic planning and all of that. There's a place for that.
Right.
But yeah, and that's an excellent question. Yeah, your vision statement needs to be more abstract, more broad, because then it'll be like Habitat, for example. We're going to be doing this for many years. So the vision won't change, but we will evolve, and we're still excited. Your vision is going to generate the excitement. Building houses for people. Every time Habitat builds a house, what happens?
Now you fulfill part of that vision.
Right, every time. But the vision is still, it's broad, but at the same time, it's exciting. You're helping people who might not otherwise have a home to become homeowners. So the vision is still there. People are having a decent place to live, very decent place. We're building that, and people put sweat equity into that. But that's not in the vision. The overall goal is we're giving people a decent place to live. So just think about these things, craft it out. This is a great starting point. We're just not gonna put any action in this. It's just, what is the dream? What is the dream? If you could have anything, here's a question, here's something to think about. If money were no option, how would Dorcas Destiny International look? You know, would it be a nice complex over in Kenya, a compound where you could house many families, a training center there? Maybe that's what you want, but that's gonna be your vision. When you're writing it, don't think about money, don't think about any of that stuff. It's what you aspire for Dorcas Destiny International to become. So I'm gonna turn the recording off now because you've got some things to work on, and like I said, Donna knows where to find me. I'm not going far that I know of. I'll be around, so you can always say, hey, this is what we've come up with. What do you think about this? And I can give you feedback on that. But I think you all have, from what I've heard in the discussions, I hear a lot of elements of things, and self-sufficiency bounces off, education, health, spreading the gospel. But you're educating families, and you're making families more economically responsible through educating the children. And I like what you said. These children go home to somebody, right? So whether it's grandma, mom, dad, older sister, older brother, they're going home.
Right.
So they're taking what they get at the school home with them. And I like the fact that you're partnering with Scott, and how can we get these packs to those kids, to the families, because they're going to eat at school and they have these nutritious meals. And now how's this going to branch out into those communities where food may be very scarce and resources are scarce, but you all are bringing that, and you're the face of that, and they know when you hit the community, they know you're there. That's something very special, very special. And I think that the way you do it is a little different from other organizations. Of course, there are other outreaches that go, but maybe there's a different element. They go and they'll do some stuff, and they'll leave, and then they'll come back and do some stuff. But you have other things going on constantly, so it's ongoing. The school doesn't leave when you leave; it's still there, and you're educating teachers.
Yes.
And that's something, I did some research and I did a little bit of a comparative analysis when you first asked me to do this. And I'm thinking, okay, what sets them apart? What's happening? I haven't seen teacher education or educating teachers to teach the kids. I really haven't seen that.
Wow.
So that's an angle that you're offering that I don't really see that.
Well, and when we went in January, the headmaster and the head teacher, they already had developed a list of ideas and things that they wanted. And that was one of the things they asked for. They realized they needed. They wanted teacher professional development. So thankfully we were able to provide that this time, and we will continue to provide it. We have two additional people. One is a college professor as well, Janice Tuck Lively, and also Dr. Angela Jones Williams. She has an educational consulting company. She's actually the School of Ministry orientation today.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's why she's not here. But she wants to go with us to do the teacher professional development. So thankfully, it's something they realize they need, and God's bringing the resources for that education to continue.
So it takes the education to a higher level than maybe what's happening in some of the communities. You're actually developing a teacher training program.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's something that you might want to consider promoting. Because I did that analysis and I haven't seen that. Yeah, there's outreach, but that struck me as also something that was different.
And then I thought about, you're not only just bringing them, like you're talking about the fish, but we're empowering them.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good word, empower.
And that in self-empowerment boosts self-esteem, boosts marketability, and it's gonna not transcend for just now, but throughout the generations.
Absolutely. That's a buzzword, empowering, empowerment.
Yes,
So see, this is, I think your vision statement is going to be very exciting. What you're doing is quite exciting. So when you talk to people and you're able to share this information, it's going to generate excitement, enthusiasm. It's going to inspire people. So once you have that vision statement, you're going to run with it. You already got your media person, so.
Yeah.
Good to have family members.
I am so pleased to be able to present this video testimonial on behalf of Dr. Pinkey Stewart and Success Zone. My name is Donna V. Werner. I am the founder and executive director of Dorcas Destiny International, as well as the CEO of Werner Business Group. I asked Dr. Pinkey Stewart to prepare a board development workshop for my organization, and I am so pleased with the results that she was able to produce. She thoroughly researched not only our organization, but also similar organizations before she customized a program for us for our new board of directors. I'm so pleased with the results that she was able to produce because I now have new board members because of what Dr. Stewart was able to do in the course of the board development workshop that she created for us. I would highly recommend her for any organization, any corporate entity, any nonprofit group that wants to have a professionally done, customized workshop, presentation, or seminar. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking with you soon to provide another testimonial for Dr. Pinkey Stewart.